In 2013, he planned to build the world's largest animatronic dinosaur replica in the world's biggest dinosaur park. In the space of just 10 days, his team would have to piece together an animatronic dinosaur that was up to 56 feet tall. Located just outside Cincinnati in Mason, Ohio, Kings Island Amusement Park is home to the world's largest animatronic dinosaur park. Giant dinosaurs loom large in the forests of the park. All these replicas belong to a creative visionary who brings dinosaurs to life with science and entertainment. This man is Daoping. He makes large dinosaurs whose size, movements, sound, and shape have been put to the stringent tests of dinosaur experts. To date, Daoping has more than 600 animatronic dinosaurs in exhibitions in North America. On the 8th of April, 2013, the animatronic creator and his team were going to establish a world record. They plan to build the world's largest animatronic dinosaur. The original fossils of Sauroposeidon were discovered in the United States in 1994, but the dinosaur wasn't actually named until 2000. With an estimated height of 56 feet and a length of 115 feet, it is one of the tallest dinosaurs ever discovered. To produce and assemble this supersized dinosaur posed unprecedented challenges. The first challenge for the team was to find the right man to produce a dinosaur of this size. 4 months ago, Daoping brought the task of making a Sauroposeidon to a place in China called Zigong.
今天呢，我们讲的呢，这是波塞冬龙 ，OK。那我们希望呢，通过大家努力，就把这个龙放到全世界去。
Zigong of Sichuan Province is the world-renowned hometown of animatronic dinosaurs. Here, dinosaur displays have always been the most brilliant part of the annual Spring Lights Festival. The dinosaur makers here are all well-versed in the production of all sorts of dinosaurs. Motor-driven dinosaur manufacturers from Japan and China's Taiwan came to these specific makers for the production of dinosaur replicas. Zigong gradually became the world's largest base for the production of fine dinosaur replicas. Work on what was going to be the world's largest animatronic dinosaur was naturally handed to the workers in Zigong.
首先呢，要考虑到它这个比例，风向，风如果刮得太大了以后呢，它可能会倒，对吧？一定要兼顾，不然的话它将来会出事啊。有什么问题大家就看看，再探讨一下。
就是你那个动作嘛，应该尽量往上面挪一下。你之前说的是在根部的时候做上下，那前面的重量太大了，没法完成的。你看你前面7、8米长的，它那重量全都在那个关节上面。 如果我们把它往上移的话，那相对重量得轻得多，风阻力也小得多。
OK。
After coming up with a solution to the movement of the dinosaur's long neck, the engineers were presented with another major challenge. A Sauroposeidon is as tall as 56 feet, but the workshop in Zigong was only 36 feet high. The building and testing work of this gigantic dinosaur would have to take place outdoors. The workers, using soldering irons, painstakingly handcrafted the Sauroposeidon's skin patterns. Technically speaking, soldering iron manually may not be a difficult job, but the surface of Sauroposeidon is simply so large that it would take many working hours to complete. Under normal circumstances, the surface area of a dinosaur produced in Zigong is about 160 square feet. But in the case of the massive Sauroposeidon, It was nearly 656 square feet. It would take a skilled worker a whole day to carve out a surface of 16 to 19.5 square feet. Ultimately, skin carving alone took 4 workers a solid 10 days to accomplish. Work on testing the Sauroposeidon took 12 days more to complete than a normal-sized dinosaur. It was not until April the 2nd that the entire Sauroposeidon was shipped to Mason, Ohio in the United States, along with 6 technicians from Zigong. After nearly a week on its long journey from the arrival port, the components of the Sauroposeidon finally reached Ohio. In the forest of the park, a work site was set aside. The specially made iron and steel base and the rivet joints were in place for the assembly of the super dinosaur. But upon the arrival of the Sauroposeidon, the assembly team encountered a big problem. The construction supervisors of the park came with a bad message. The law stipulates that ample space must be reserved around the periphery of the construction site. They were afraid the work on the giant dinosaur might inflict damage on the forests, or even lead to some unexpected safety issues.
在美国干活呢，安全是第一，对，所有的事情都放到后面去。为了安全，我们到外面去安装，安装完再搬进来，这样决定了，就这样办。
The reserved site was not usable. The team had to find a new place for assembly. Finally, they found an empty space in front of a warehouse, but its owner would only allow them to use it for 9 days. In 9 days, the team had to assemble the largest animatronic dinosaur replica in the world. The team couldn't afford to waste 1 minute, so work started right away. The 56 feet tall Sauroposeidon would stand out like a small hill on this empty flat ground. The giant dinosaur had to be first fixed firmly onto the base. The team had to drive large rivets into the ground so as to fasten the legs of the dinosaur. However, no rivets were allowed to be driven. The empty site in front of the warehouse
这个地基的话哈，那个还有很多标准的东西，还需要依照美国这边的标准来做。
But city laws stipulated that except with special approval, no one was allowed to dig a hole deeper than 6 inches in the park. The team went through their plan over and over again and finally came up with a solution.
Like this one, we put this temporary floor first, mount the ground, okay?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then anchored down with a chemical anchor.
Body is this one.
That
4 is strong.
They replaced the dinosaur's original 16.5-foot long legs with 1.5-foot temporary legs. In this way, not only the center of the gravity was lowered, but also the weight was reduced. Besides, they also attached 5 large concrete blocks to the iron structure of the animatronic dinosaur as balance weights so as to prevent any swing of the dinosaur. On this temporary site, the Chinese and Canadian crews started the assembly work on the Sauroposeidon.
Adam, we've got a whole line up here.
In less than 2 days, one giant component after another was pieced together to make the giant body of the dinosaur. April the 11th, 2013. The assembly team was entering a critical moment. At this time, a new problem emerged on the construction site.
John, get out! What are you doing? Get out from there!
John Wilcox, the on-site exhibition site manager, ordered the Chinese team to come down from the high positions on which they were working. Zhang Yi was a construction team leader from Sichuan province. He and his co-workers from Sichuan were working more than 33 feet above the ground, but they had ignored a basic safety issue. The young Sichuan workers had been equipped with standard issue fall protection equipment, but this type of equipment was not in general use in Sichuan. They had not fastened their safety equipment properly, either on their person nor to the equipment they were scaling. This was a clear violation of North American safety codes.
安全问题不是开玩笑的。就前2天，北美的这个高空作业协会，一个人工作手挂钩没挂好，就因为这个挂钩没挂好摔死了。所以呢，当时呢，我就用这个水桶给他们做一个现场的安全教育。
Daoping tied the safety belt to a bucket. He then fastened the hook of the belt onto a beam. The beam was as tall as a man. Daoping let go of the bucket, which crashed onto the ground. The right way to do it was to hang the hook onto the overhead beam.
假设一个人在上面，这样掉下来以后，对不对？它下面有空间，它就不会出问题。
Zhang Yi and other team members were immediately convinced. They followed the directions from John Wilcox for their safety thereafter. The crew went in and out of the dinosaur's abdomen and neck part safely, completing the skeleton of the dinosaur in a rapid manner. The next step was to equip the dinosaur with its skin. The skin was made from thick sponge. The outer layer of the sponge was covered with latex resistant to both fire and water. The crew was working systematically, put together the skin piece by piece. April the 12th, 2013. In early morning, the construction supervisor of the park came with another bad message, a storm warning from the meteorological department. Once the storm hit, all the work must be suspended. If preventative measures were not taken before the storm, a vast amount of rainwater would pour into the body of the dinosaur. The thick sponge may suck in water, increasing the weight of the dinosaur by 5 to 6 tons. The short surrogate legs and a few concrete blocks would not bear the added weight. The dinosaur, which the workers took pains to assemble, would be on the brink of collapse. Only by stitching up the outer waterproof shell could the dinosaur survive. The crew now had to stitch up the skin of the dinosaur before the storm. The storm clouds were gathering and coming toward Mason, Ohio. There wasn't much time left. April the 13th, 2013. To save time, most days the Canadian crew ate a simple 15 to 20-minute lunch and immediately returned to work. But noon was a time when Chinese crew drove to a Chinese restaurant in town for some Chinese food. Having Chinese food in the US was a luxury for the crew, but it was also time-consuming. The difference in the length of lunchtime was damaging the morale of the Canadian team. Work progress was slowing down. If it continued this way, the project wouldn't be finished before the storm broke. In the afternoon, Daoping wrote an invitation letter to John.
我来邀请江呢，下班以后去用餐。这顿餐呢，专门安排在我们中国安装组的住处。
Daoping Bao wanted to invite the Canadian workers for some Sichuan food. Through tasting delicious Chinese food, the workers could better understand why the Chinese workers had to have a Chinese lunch.
我们为什么始终喜欢吃这个川菜呢？因为吃着它，因为麻辣就是思念家乡的味道，有亲人的温暖，所以说我们喜欢吃川菜。今天也请你品尝一下。别这样多盛一点，让他尝一下咱们四川人的川菜。
This is the red one.
你看他们使筷子也很会使。
Oh, you're very good using chopsticks.
他们很会，不是教呗。
Is that okay?
可以吗？又长。
Show us. Don't cry.
在这儿吃饭，我就想起了我家里边一个很出名的一个节目《舌尖上的中国》。我们今天在这儿吃，就是在美国体会舌尖上的中国，舌尖上的四川，舌尖上的家。
John, fantastic job today. Your crew worked really, really hard, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. And the meal and the spread, brilliant. Absolutely beautiful. Really nice and tasty. Very tasty. The energy, I can understand why you take so long now for lunch, because you have to have Chinese food for the energy that you need to last the day. I understand that. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
But only 1 hour.
Only one.
1 hour.
Yeah. Okay.
OK， thank you，well done.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The sharing of a meal and a few laughs was also a welcome exercise in team building. April the 14th, 2013. According to weather forecasts, storm could hit at any moment. The team had covered the dinosaur with large pieces of latex skin. There was now only one step left: stitching. These men, who were capable of doing heavy lifting work, were sewing the outer skin of the dinosaur stitch by stitch. The violent storm came just as expected. Hail in the size of dove eggs fell from the sky. Everyone was instantly soaked through, but they beat the storm. The world's largest animatronic dinosaur conceived and created in China withstood the test of a North American storm. April the 15th, 2013. In the morning after the storm, Daoping Bao was, as usual, inspecting the construction site, as well as taking some pictures. Daoping Bao graduated from the Emily Carr University of Art and Design, majored in film arts. While in school, he became the first Chinese photographer who took pictures for the family of British former Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Daoping Bao entered the dinosaur exhibition business, courtesy of his high achievements in visual arts.
那是2005年的时候，我就帮一个朋友，就把中国的这个传统的这个骨架、恐龙骨架和恐龙化石到北美展出。当时在温哥华。
At that time, he felt that adding life-size, lifelike animatronic dinosaurs to exhibitions would attract more guests. So he asked the Genggu factory in Zigong to make 2 animatronic dinosaurs for him. The animatronic dinosaurs, which was showcased together with the dinosaur skeletons and the fossils, made the dinosaur exhibition a complete success.
当结束时候，6月以后，那他要撤展了。 那撤展的时候呢，有一个小女孩对着我们就说：“她说叔叔啊，她说什么时候我可以再看到电动这个霸王龙再回来？”当时我就说了，她会回来的啊。 一定会回来的。
From there, Daoping went on to design and create the latest high-quality and innovative dinosaur exhibitions every year. He also used his cameras to record the precious moments of every birth of these dinosaurs. April the 15th, 2013. April the 16th, 2 days away from the land lease expiring. The crew had to transport the assembled Sauroposeidon into the designated spots in the park in 2 days. The transport of the giant animatronic could not be handled lightly. Daoping hired engineers and rented special heavy lifting equipment to do the job. But the Sauroposeidon was so large that the engineers suggested they should be deassembled before the transport.
But why now you come in at 70 tons? I have to take the whole thing off. Why are you doing that?
Yes, due to the structural integrity of the dinosaur, we would be afraid to pick it in one piece due to the welds and the bolts breaking.
Okay, you think the structure itself cannot support?
Yes.
吊装师傅说了，说一定要切掉以后这个一块块弄进去，你认为怎么样？
我认为这个不用拆，我可以保证100%掉进去没有问题。
你可以保证吗？
对啊
，100%。Okay, John, what do you think? He says 100%.
I wouldn't say 100%. I would say 99%.
99%? No, it's not good enough. Okay, 1% is not good enough. So let's cut. Okay, hi guys.
The Canadian team believed that they had a 99% chance of transporting the dinosaur in one piece. But there was still 1% of uncertainty that made Daoping unsure about it. He decided to deassemble the dinosaur before transport. The engineers had to strip the completed dinosaur into 3 parts, which were then transported to the exhibition site. It took 2 days to move the dinosaur to the designated location, which was only some 300 feet away from its construction area. The team finally transported the Sauroposeidon in the given time frame. The giant body of the Sauroposeidon was in place. The rest of the work entailed reassembling the remaining parts. The Sauroposeidon, the largest animatronic dinosaur in the world, finally stood in the world's largest dinosaur park. A new world record was created. The dinosaurs unearthed team once more had made their fantastic dreams come true. After breaking the record of making the world's largest animatronic dinosaur, the team was ready for the next challenge. Soon, Daoping announced that he would like to design and produce the world's smallest animatronic dinosaur replica, an oviraptor. But it was quite unexpected that the obstacles facing them this time were even greater than the making of the Sauroposeidon.